First off, all praises for and honestly, how about you know, shout out your the ones that was possible and teach them pretty much what they should know local workers. And I'm gonna say this on. I'm gonna title this video "Another Day, Another Dollar, Another Day, Another Day in Slavery" or something along the lines of that. I was getting gas this morning, and you had a Jake dip. I guess he thought I was. Well, I was filling up like a little portable, like those little red gas cans. I always keep one of them on me. But guess the guy thought I was into like lawn mowing or landscaping or whatnot. But he said another day, another dollar, huh? Just some idle back, just a quick idle back and forth. I said yeah, whatever and whatnot. Kept it moving. But you got a lot of Jake that don't just thinking about how fucked up you have to be in the head, how completely and utterly defeated you have to be in the head to willingly subscribe to that fact. Because what Jake, the vast majority of our people have given up. And a couple months ago, one of the brothers was talking about how you had Jake during like the mid to late 1900s. And they mentioned a saying of how Jake went out with guns, against the so-called white man, with that whole black power shit, and then they came back with jobs, and essentially they were bribed, and our people were pretty much giving up. And it's not a matter of physical might, but a matter of spiritual might. Because what we're in a spiritual fight, and our people's spirit has been essentially broken. No, not just their mind, but their spirit. Well, I guess you can kind of put those hand in hand, But you got niggas that look forward to growing up in America, that look forward to serving their country in military, and they just roll past the damn military veteran, and they take pride in the fact that they served in the military of their mortal enemy. But another day, another dollar. That's that positive thing of how you get up, you keep working, you earn some money, and you're doing a good thing. But I'm gonna read this 3:8. Behold, we are yet this day, even this very same day, up till today, in our captivity from slavery. And the word employee goes back into slavery. There's a scripture that says the buyer is servant to the lender. That's and everything you have, the so-called white man can take away, down to the very rights that you consider to be unalienable. And you see that with Trump talking about not amended, but getting rid of the Constitution and certain rights, with with martial law and shit. Because when you go into martial law, your constitutional rights are ineffective. They're banned. They're done. They're finito for that duration of martial law. Those are not unalienable rights. There are certain things that you can and that you can't say. That's not freedom. That's called privileges, things that they allow you to do. And even with us, our heritage, that's something the so-called white man tried to get rid of. But this in America is complete slavery. They just allow you a few extra privileges that you may not have had in the ancient world, or even maybe then you had them, but in a different format. For example, watching TV, being able to walk out on the street without somebody chasing you down and asking you what you're doing or where you're going. It's not that long ago since that happened, actually. A single lifetime ago that happened, and not even that. It's Proverbs 22 7. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. And once again, when you take out different loans, that's borrowing money that you have to pay back. Whether it's buying a house and you're not owed, you have to pay a mortgage. Unless you put the full payment down on the house, or a car, or rent, which most people nowadays can't sustain a mortgage. They can barely sustain rent. So most people about to be out here fucking renting. And what is renting? That's borrowing a space for a month. Internet, your phone bill, all monthly reoccurring monthly fees. You're borrowing these things, and then Jake think it's okay because he can go to work, he can slave away, build up another man's dream. And even if you're self-made, you still have to, no matter which direction you go, you're a fucking slave. And once again, our people have been completely fucking defeated, and that's a fucking sad thing, because the Lord refers to us as kings and priests all over the scriptures. Behold, we're yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, for a punishment. But the mind, like when you go into our forefathers, sure, they understood that we were put in the captivity because of our fuck up, but their mindset was what? It wasn't to remain in captivity. They called to Yahweh Shema Shai, and He delivered them. Their mindset of here, okay, we're at here right now, but one day we hope for the Lord to deliver us. But once again, that's why I say with the defeated spirit of our people. And that was once again, that was a very interesting thing. Another day, another dollar. Another day in slavery. It's not another dollar. Sure, you make money, but all that money gets put right back out. That's some slavery-minded type shit if I've ever heard it. That shit nearly made me fucking ill. And a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, because we repeated the same thing, which departed from the Lord our power. Hear Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear to understand wisdom. But once again, our people don't want to do that. That's why they got to die. Because when our people were in captivity, the Lord, there came a time where the Lord delivered us out of captivity. We're coming up on that time now. But if you don't, you got the 2/3 and 1/3. You don't want to get with it. You're going to have to die with this place, because the Lord's getting ready to melt this fucking place. And everybody who isn't with the new golden order, they're all going to get fucking melted. If you ever played that game Elden Ring, that's where I got that term golden order from. But it's going to be a new golden order, a new golden age. Talk about golden fucking age. No, this is going to be the real golden age, literally, because the scriptures talk about how the kingdom streets are going to be paved with pure gold, pure and it's going to be able to reflect. You're going to be able to see a reflection in it. That's going to be the real golden age, nigga. Here are the commandments of life. Once again, this is where we have our power and we have our strength. And you got brothers repeat the same thing over and over again. Why? It's because it's the truth. Just like how you hear with niggas who make money, they say, invest, do this, the same things. All these niggas who make money on the fucking internet, they all talk about similar shit, but they have their own mantra that they repeat over and over again. People go, why do you keep repeating that same thing over again? Because this is how they got there. There's no fucking secret. They worked hard at something. They made smart decisions, diverted risk, minimalized risk, and do the same thing over and over again. It may seem boring, but that's how they got to that position. And once again, similar thing with the scriptures. Reading every day, gaining wisdom, knowledge, understanding may seem boring to some people. Reading history may seem boring to some people. But this is how we get to where we want to go. With sports, music. Well, I only say music because I was into music for the majority of my life till recently. But like when it comes to a skill, right? And these basketball players, what do you hear them say? Drill the basics. Go over this over and over again. Do the boring stuff over and over again. Our people, one of the reasons why, like, especially when you go into like these other niggas who like IUIC, they're not into the truth because they look at it's not flat. It's like what a lot of people shun GMS, or they might not be with GMS because it's not flashy enough for them. Because it may seem like a lot of work, or it may seem boring. Or just our people getting to the truth, reading the Bible may seem boring. Looking up words may seem boring. But just like when you go into the gym, right? You have your basic exercises that have been proven to build muscle and to produce results. You got all this extra crazy shit that these niggas do, but they all talk about how, at least the successful ones all of them were on fucking roids. But they, like, you still, even if you're on fucking steroids, you still do have to fucking work. They just speed up recovery. But they all talk about, basic shit. You got, like, once again, they may do this extra shit just for show, but how they got to where they were is the basic shit. Same thing with the scriptures. Reading, studying, praying. Seemingly boring and basic thing will get you to where you need to go. Build up a proper foundation. This is our people want to be kings. They want to be rich. Jake want to have all the women in the world. This is how you do it. Verse 10, how happeneth it, Israel, that thou art in thine enemy's land? Thou art waxen old in a strange country, that thou art defiled with the dead. And our people are willingly defiled with the dead, going to engaging, with the heathen idols, engaging the ways of the heathen. They are willingly defiling themselves with the heathen ways, and they do it with a smile on their face, and not only that, but they physically defile themselves with a smile on their face too, and you already know where I'm going with that. But once again, their spirit has been completely broken. This is a completely broken people, and it's a sad fucking thing to see. But once again, fuck them. Because everybody's heard the truth, and everybody's making their decision and taking their sides. Verse 11, that thou art counted to them that go down into the grave. Thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom. Once again, our power, our God. For if thou hadst walked in the way of Yahweh, thou shouldst have dwelled in peace forever. Learn where is wisdom, where is strength. You wonder why you're getting choked out in the middle of the street? Why you have the Edomite over you, the weakest nigga on the planet over you, smashing every fucking body? Because I was just thinking, you got brothers mentioning it, how you've had, when you go into the technological advancement, all of this shit happened within the span of like 200 years. When it comes to like this technology, the shit happened within 200 years. Yet for thousands of years, you had niggas throwing around rocks and sticks. Yet within this and the Lord gave this nigga, the so-called white man, the wisdom to do this shit. There's no any other. I was just thinking, there's no any other way to describe how humanity for thousands of years have been walking around in sandals, fighting with fucking sticks and swords and arrows and shit. Like obviously, they had catapults and all this other shit, but it's like they didn't have fucking B-23 fucking bomber jets. That's a recent fucking development. artificial intelligence. That shit alone, it's advanced to the point where it's at within around like 10 years. 10, 20, maybe 30 years. But the Lord gave this nigga that warrior is strength. Strength is what the Yahweh Shemel shot. All you niggas wonder why you keep getting your ass handed to you, whether it be financially or physically or every other aspect of your life. It's because our people have forsaken Yahweh Shemel shot. And like what? Even in the world, people say how you can't do everything on your own. You know, you can't. And the reason why I've been mentioning that a lot is because like a lot of things in the world, in a way, are how do I say this? In a way, are a watered down mirror version of Yahweh Shemel shot. You know, but once again, he's the origin of everything. People just chipped off things from the scriptures and then fucking bastardized it and polluted it. You know, like Esau's society, you know, like him trying to become a god. What example of like camera phones everywhere. The Lord has angels watching everywhere. How does the so-called white man view everything? Through his technology, through a watered down version, through cameras, speakerphones everywhere. That, you know, it's just a small example. The Lord has his laws, statutes, commandments, and the so-called white man has his. You know, Yahweh Shemel Shai has immortality. So-called white man is trying to make up his little false way of immortality. His little watered down pseudo bullshit. You know, Lord has spiritual. Well, even when you going to get into that, so-called white man is allowed to engage with left hand angels because the Lord allows it. But I hope that made sense. But yeah. Verse 14, learn where is wisdom, where is strength, where is understanding. Thou mayest know also where is length of days, where is light of eyes and peace. But yeah, man, you know, like what point was we're yet this day in our captivity. And yet you have niggas that are happy and that's why y'all have to die, because when the Lord, he's coming in to bring a new kingdom, and he's not going to have fucking slave fucking minded niggas ruling in his kingdom. He's looking for the best of the best, and some broke back nigga, whether you have a what's one of them cars, a McLaren, or one of these other fucking non-common supercar brands that a lot of people don't really know about, where you have one of them, it doesn't matter. You are a broken nigga who have given up spiritual fight. And how do you engage in spiritual fight? By learning the truth, preaching the word, resisting the temptations of so-called white man. You know, not not opting to rule over your people under the so-called white man. So, you know, to literally bend over and bow down to worship this nigga and Satan. That's how you get in a spiritual fight. But hope it's ever fine. Hope it made sense. So all praises, glory down to Yahweh Shemel Shai, Bashukah Dash. The Ram said others possible teacher, Milsa, Shalom, so like this one, Shoshi Ballon, Great America.